are officially 0%.
Oh my god!
KRZLE.
Yeah. Charles. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds pulls out a banana and
Yes,
starts
that's what I was
peeling it.
going.
Butterfly kisses.
Oh my god. Hey, fuck these drums.
The synopsis just isn't good. Oh my god. Okay. And on that note.
Welcome, one and all, to a brand spanking new episode of What Was That Called Again? My name is Thomas.
I am Turkey Fed Will.
And this is a movie podcast recorded the day after Thanksgiving, yet not posting until the middle of December.
Hey, you don't know what my mid-December feast might be.
Where I have gone to the trouble of selecting 3 movies, and I will read their IMDb plot descriptions to Will, and then Will has to try to match the plot descriptions to the correct titles. And this is recorded on Black Friday.
Black.
Did you have you scooped up any Black Friday deals?
No. I barely scooped myself up. It's not very, I shouldn't say very. It's early in the morning on a Friday, so I haven't done much. Have you?
Yeah, I actually did. I woke up ungodly early this morning by accident, not on purpose.
I received your text, I think, at like 3 a.m. or whatever it was.
Yeah, I woke up at like 1:50 randomly, and I just decided to stay awake because I can't fall back to sleep, and I didn't want to just like lay in bed for hours. So I got up, and I thought, oh yeah, it's Black Friday. And so I started to peruse a few different websites, not really seeing anything. And then I checked out Vinegar Syndrome sales, scooped up a handful of flicks from Vinegar Syndrome. So excited to get some of those brand new discs, and might see if we'll have some new episode content at some point. Whenever I get around to receiving some of those. So yeah, there's a couple of them there 2 or 3 of them that I bought, because the sale was pretty fucking great, like 60+% off some of them.
For everyone listening mid-December, this sale was amazing.
Yeah, if you missed out on the Vinegar Syndrome sale, then sorry for you.
Next year.
There were a few of the titles that I bought that I have known about and have really wanted to get for a while, and it just like so happened to be on sale, so I went ahead and grabbed them. But there were a couple of other ones that I had never heard of, and I read about them, of course, on the Vinegar Syndrome site, and also watched the trailers.
Oh, yeah.
One of the trailers that I watched like half of it and stopped it and was like, oh yeah, this fucking sounds amazing.
Don't say anything else. I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one specifically that I'm referencing there sounded like one that you would enjoy also. And okay. I got really excited about that. And I actually might send you the trailer. So maybe that one won't be in an episode. That's fine. But
or it
yeah,
still could be, because you could literally send me the trailer and then wait 2 months and be like, this sounds familiar.
And then you'll be like, have I seen this before? did we go to the movies to see this?
Did we talk about this movie?
Yeah, so I'm excited to get some of those, and we'll see what happens, including what I completely forgot they did, the Vinegar Syndrome 4K release of Michael Mann's The Keep. I can't wait to see that in 4K. It's so good. I mean, the movie's not so good, but it's going to look amazing.
It's going to 4K. Look awesome, but it's going to be still the same movie.
Yep. So how about that's a good transition, I guess, for a drink check.
Oh. I'll let you go first.
I'll go first.
Yes.
My drink check as of this second I'm speaking is nothing, because I had 2 cups of coffee, both of which have been consumed in full. I actually just finished the second cup right before we started recording. So as I'm speaking, I have nothing to drink.
You are a dry cup drink check. You're bottom of the mug drink check.
That's true. However, I believe I have seen and heard about a very interesting concoction you have on your desk.
Well, again, so it's morning, and I don't have any coffee, and I didn't want to drink something mixed, and I don't have anything to mix anyway right now, because it is so early. I didn't want to drink that much, but then Thomas was like, oh, I thought you were going to do your your vodka mayonnaise or whatever it was we talked about last show, or whenever that was. And I was like, oh, I could do vodka Tabasco. And then I ran off and got that because I am an idiot. So I have that. It's just a shot. I didn't do if even that. Maybe it's like a shot and a half. And I also didn't have Tabasco, so I've already completely screwed this whole thing up. With as simple as these two ingredients should be. It's some kind of hot sauce. I will say that. Almost like a no-label hot sauce. It was in a gift box from several Christmases ago, where they have several selections of like the bottles of hot sauce, and I also know it's not Tabasco because I've already used that bottle that is similar in smell and taste and also color to Tabasco. So this is just some kind of Serrano hot sauce, and the bottle said "Caution, very hot." And I put in, Tabasco you usually like drip it on stuff, like a few like little dashes of it. Yeah, so this doesn't have one of those type of necks or openings. This is just your typical pour opening.
Oh,
yeah, and
okay.
I was a little heavy with it, and I'm looking at the. I've showed Thomas this. I'm looking at the mixture now, and it has separated.
Oh, of course.
Into this pond water looking murky.
Yeah, it's like very cloudy.
It's very cloudy.
Disgusting
and there's
looking.
Floaters in it of some kind that I'm hoping is just part of
it. It actually genuinely looks as if you dipped your glass into a pond and you just have like really a little bit of pond water.
Yeah, it really,
so
like I said, it has like a very cloudy, brown, murkish, because the hot sauce was, I don't even know the color that it could be. A slightly off muted yellow was the color of the hot sauce to begin with, and then as soon as I put it in the vodka, it was it just like stayed in a congealed ball, and I had to stir it, to break it up, and like so it is. So I'm gonna just do this really quick, and if I sound different, and
this is for you, the listeners. Because he's obviously not enjoying himself right now.
Stalling, clearly. so if I sound completely different after this, just know that in the edit we had to do a lot of things because I'm expecting this to just destroy my throat, and it is for the record 20 till 11, and oh my, the smell. So here we go. I'm actually gonna face away from my computer. In case there's an involuntary reaction with ejecta, as it's called.
Oh, man.
So I don't think I'm not going to get sick. I'm mostly just worried about like coughing mid-drink because of the.
What if you do involuntarily get sick? Like, what if it just as soon as it touches your tongue, your stomach just
then I'm leaving it in this.
Revolt.
I won't edit that out. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you should keep that in.
All right, here we go.
Just don't vomit on the mic.
Vodka. Hot sauce is what we'll call it. Here we go. Good
drum roll.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, it's the smell that you have to, because as soon as you put like, sorry, I'm stalling again. As soon as you put like this type of vinegary hot sauce near your nose, it has that like, it almost causes you to kind of gag a little bit. Not like you're grossed out, but just it has like that like vinegary like reaction where you just want to like your throat closes up. That's what I have to get. So I'm going to hold my nose maybe, or hold my breath.
Gosh.
Here we go. Yeah. All right. Again, I'm going to edit all of this out probably. Here we go. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
The first reaction I thought sounded surprisingly positive, but your face is making a not very positive look.
So it was positive. In the
that first that came out.
It was positive in the sense that like it wasn't as bad as I thought. Does not mean it was good.
Yeah. No, your face definitely does not make this drink was good.
Because it's actually very spicy. And I just put it right straight down my throat.
We need to start a spin-off called What Was That Drink Again? where
gosh.
where you're blindfolded and I
Oh.
create a drink of some kind and you have to dissect like the two ingredients that are mixed together.
Oh my. And just torture me the whole time. So yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean, the reason my face is like this is because my mouth is instantly dry and also slightly on fire. So I'm trying to like, you know, get as much saliva into my mouth as possible. And also just like, it has that, I don't know, like, gosh, I can't control my face right now.
There's a lot of
this is
head
all involuntary.
movements, closed eyes,
just like scrunching my
wincing.
face. And I also just had that, like, you know, that vodka shot reaction, but for some reason it's like lingering. And I can't. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Maybe that'll help.
Oh,
but yeah, the O in the beginning was just that I was surprised it wasn't as vile as it looked. So I was just like, I was like, oh, okay, this actually isn't the grossest thing going down my throat. I mean, it makes sense why it wouldn't be gross. That's not far off of an actual thing.
You're familiar with these ingredients.
Yeah. Well, and there's, you know, I'm sure there's, if I actually had Tabasco, that'd probably be an actual drink, some kind of shot or whatever, but it did just look horrible. It just looked not great at all. And it smelled very vinegary. But yeah, that was vodka hot sauce that I said I'm never doing vodka mayonnaise. Sorry.
That's, well, maybe someday. Never say never. Never say never.
Nope, that's going on the record. So that was my drink check. Other than that, I have water. So, and I still can't control my face. Holy cow.
Yep, I see that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm ready though.
Everyone listening, there's still a lot of head movements and slight wincing.
It's like I'm trying to dodge my head from like an opponent that is inside of me. That's what's happening.
That is an accurate description. Well, that's how our show's starting off this week, everybody. And what an episode we have for you here picked out. I picked out these movies like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to doing this one. I teased slightly before recording that one of the 3 movies featured this week is a movie that I own and watched in preparation for this episode. And I'm glad that I finally took the time to sit down and watch it.
You took the risk. It was worth it.
It took a big risk and it paid off because I love the movie so much that I actually watched it twice. So I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about that soon. However, we are going to be kicking off this week in the year 1971.
71, okay.
Year of our Lord.
I should also say, sorry, I should also say, I'm still like suffering here. I should also say that I've not had breakfast. So that was also my breakfast.
This is, nothing gets the mind churning more than vodka and hot sauce on a Friday morning whenever you have to do some thinking.
If by mind you mean stomach, then yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So 1971, Will.
Okay, I'm ready.
And your synopsis for this film, as written on IMDb, reads as follows. While drag racing through the American Southwest in a Chevrolet 150, a driver and his mechanic cross paths with an enigmatic hitchhiker and the tall-tale spinning driver of a GTO.
This kind of rings a bell. There were several of these sort of badass takes badass car and does like illegal street racing or some
badass things.
Yeah, badass things with it in the early 70s. That was just what it was. I mean, you had all these awesome cars that looked fantastic on camera. The concept of car chases or fast car driving scenes was like in its height around this time.
We should remake this with a
Prius
Cybertruck.
Okay. And get like what 3 blocks before it breaks down.
Just the wheels fall off and the gas pedal sticks.
Well, it's not gas. It's electric.
My bad. The electric pedal sticks.
The electric pedal. Okay, let me try to recap this. So, this is 1971.
Yep. So far, so good.
while drag racing across the country in a 151 or something like that.
While drag racing through the American Southwest in a Chevrolet 150.
Chevrolet 150. The driver and his enigmatic mechanic come across.
Just a mechanic.
Oh, sorry.
Cross paths with an enigmatic hitchhiker.
That's where it was. Okay, the hitchhiker is the one that's got the qualifier on it. And also a driver of a GTO.
Yep, the tall tail spinning driver.
Okay,
of the GTO.
So we have the enigmatic hitchhiker and a tall tail spinning driver of a GTO.
Yeah.
So it's just the driver and his mechanics journey across the Southwest, meeting interesting folks.
Pretty much
what this is about. Okay, like I said, it kind of rings a bell, but I just don't know if I'm just thinking of any of the other movies that are like muscle car driving across American Southwest desert type movies. So I can't necessarily say yet that I know what this is, but I'm curious, and also I'm curious now to know which one of these three is going to be this movie that you had to watch twice because it was so good. So, next film, please. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Maybe we will. Maybe I'll just never tell you. That's also an option.
Solid mystery. Your
second film is going to be from 1992. And your synopsis reads as follows. An ex-con and a crazy man are an unlikely duo on the road looking for a better life. All they have is an old gun and a stolen car to aid them in finding some much-needed luck and plenty of cold, hard cash.
Okay. 92.
Yeah.
I like that you said an ex-con?
Yep.
So there's an ex-con and a crazy man, and somehow they're seemingly polar opposites. For whatever reason. Maybe the crazy man was like a square, and he never ever broke any rules. He was just wild. He was just crazy.
And the ex-con could have been falsely accused.
I guess that's true. Yeah. But at least they're opposites, and that's what makes this interesting.
Yeah, so, it makes for a quote unlikely duo on the road.
on the road. So they're on the road looking for a new life.
Looking for a better life. Yeah.
Better life. And so I might have to have you read this one again.
That's fine. Again, an ex-con and a crazy man are an unlikely duo on the road looking for a better life. All they have is an old gun a stolen car to aid them in finding some much-needed luck and plenty of cold, hard cash.
So we have an ex-con and a crazy man, and also a stolen car. So
Yep. Who stole that car?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering.
That's the first question of the movie.
Because if the ex-con stole the car, then that's not a good start for him already. So they have an old gun, too, and that's all they have in trying to find this better life while on the road in search of something, and then also fast cash or big money or something like that. What were the things they were looking for?
Neither of those things. Much needed luck and plenty of cold, hard cash.
Much needed luck and plenty. So I'm assuming just on that alone, it might be based in Vegas or around Vegas or some kind of casino, maybe.
Well, starting off with an old gun and a stolen car is not a great way to begin their trip looking for a better life.
No, it's probably not really. I agree. Yeah, it's not a great start. I mean, it is a start. You got to start somewhere. And the fact that you've got this crazy guy and an ex-con, and they're seemingly just an odd couple as far as that goes. You got an old gun and a stolen car. Not a great start. And then they're looking for luck. Basically, and then also cold hard cash. Okay,
correct.
That does not sound. 1992 does not sound familiar at all. No idea. So I guess give me the third movie, and I'll hope that it's a little bit more of a bell ringer.
All right, you're going to be ending this trip in 2002, and the synopsis for it reads as follows. A young lawyer and a businessman share a small automobile accident, and their mutual road rage escalates into a feud.
Okay. That's a weird way to put they were in an accident together.
Yep.
Okay, so...
That's the thing with IMDb, ladies and gentlemen, is sometimes people write things in like weirdly phrased ways.
Sorry, so you said the share of the accident, and I totally forgot the first part again. So read this one for me one more time.
Yeah, a young lawyer and a businessman share a small automobile accident, and their mutual road rage escalates into a feud.
So 2002. Again, as far as movies coming out around then, I have no idea. I've said before, like Spider-Man, I think is the only one I even remember. So a young lawyer and a businessman share an automobile accident, which sounds like they went out to eat and they ordered the automobile accident and they enjoyed it over some wine.
Yeah,
they shared in it. So they had an accident, and something about road rage. What was the after the accident?
Their mutual road rage escalates into a feud.
Okay, so they just they have this accident. Seemingly must be not like a major accident, because they continue on their journey in some way, and then they just cannot get over the fact that the other person continues to be a jerk behind the wheel, and eventually that road rage morphs into an actual fight, a feud.
Maybe one of them was severely injured, and so we have like a dude
who's
in the wheelchair with his leg propped up in a cast, and he's got
so you're saying this
the
is
neck
like
brace on, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's like, "This asshole fucking hit me."
You're saying this is like literally down the road, as far as like some time has passed between this shared accident, and there's still this road rage that's been bottled up over time.
This guy got severely injured, and he spends his life following this person who committed
young lawyers, just hoping to find that one young lawyer that hit him.
The one, yep.
I mean, it could be that's a vendetta, man. That's okay. So that does not sound familiar at all, and it sort of sounds intriguing. I mean, how you would develop that story, as far as you have that initial incident, which is relatable, and then you have this thing that kind of builds over the course of the journey immediately after the accident. And I would like to assume that the accident wasn't very major,
mm-hmm.
And that maybe even like one of them was like, oh, don't worry about it, here's $200 or whatever, and they go on along their way, but then they keep like passing each other on the highway, and they just let that motherfucker hit me, he's still driving like a jerk, or this person, whatever, but they let that build over time. I do like that concept, hopefully, of it just all being contained along the journey, and you're kind of in your own safety net, or your own cage, or your own personal bubble, as that rage kind of builds and builds and builds, and this pressure pot idea of going down the road and having to you're both going the same direction, roughly the same speeds, and you're just stuck with each other. So this thought of like, motherfucker, like my fender is bent in a lot, and I think $200 is not going to be enough to cover it, and then so you kind of maybe honk at the guy or whatever, and then eventually it leads to a feud. Okay, I do like how that sounds, but it doesn't sound familiar. Let me try to recap all of these. The first one was the only one that sort of sounded familiar. The second one, the second film sounded interesting, the most interesting, with the ex-con and the crazy person and the old gun and the stolen car. So okay, the first film was 1971, and it was a driver and his mechanic are driving through the American Southwest, in their Chevy, I think, and they come across an enigmatic hitchhiker and a tall tail spinning driver of a GTO. Yep,
I will correct just one thing.
Go ahead.
One little thing is that they're specifically drag racing through the American Southwest.
They're not just driving across the Southwest. They actually are racing. That's right. Okay. Drag racing. Okay. The second film was 1992.
Yeah.
And this one was about the ex-con and a crazy old man.
Crazy man.
Crazy man. We don't know his age. He could be young. Yeah. Team up in a seemingly unexpected relationship because of whatever reasons. And they're trying to find a better life.
Yeah.
And to do so, they have an old gun and a stolen car to help them find luck and cold hard cash.
Yep.
Okay. And then the last film was 1992. Oh, sorry, nope. It was 2002. Was the last film?
Yeah.
2002, and this one was the young lawyer and businessman share in an automobile accident.
Yep.
And their mutual road rage builds to a feud.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. I guess it could just be. See, again, I like this last movie. I was picturing that it takes place while driving. This mutual road rage builds, but this whole film could just take place at the site of the accident, like while they're waiting on a tow truck or police to show up or whatever. And it
starts out cordial, and then like gradually they're just
you're just stuck in that situation that sucks for both of you, and you can't really do anything or go away, and it's not the most appropriate time to like be exchanging pleasantries or whatever. You just want the police to come or the tow or whatever it is to come and help you take care of this, and then because you're forced to be together, that tension builds. I like that. Okay, so I'm clearly very intrigued by the last film, but I may change once I hear the titles. So title me, please.
All right. Well, speaking of changing, Will, the first title you have to go off of is called Changing Lanes.
Changing Lanes. Very road-centric.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has anything to do with the drag racing duo. Doesn't feel like that would be it. Drag racing, you very much want to stay in your own lane. And also, as far as
so.
Right, and as far as life goes, it doesn't seem like they're changing anything in their life either. The second film with the ex-con and the crazy man who are trying to better their life, they could be technically changing lanes. Even though the car is stolen, so they haven't really changed lanes. I mean, unless the crazy guy did that, and the ex-con's like, oh, I can't get involved with a stolen car. I'm trying to, change my life here.
Yeah, but maybe they like legally got the permit for the old gun, and they're like legally concealed carrying, and so they're like, this is a step in the right direction.
I feel like I've turned a new leaf by by doing the one right thing.
I never thought I'd see the day.
But they are hoping to change their lives. It seems like they're looking for luck and fast, cold hard cash while searching for a better life. So maybe Changing Lanes fits that. It also seems sort of like a road trip movie. I mean, not just because there's like a theme here, but you do have the old car or the stolen car, but then there's this active search, and then I guess you have to put these two in a situation where they're going to talk to each other. So sounds like a road trip movie. But now the last movie with the shared accident between the young lawyer and the businessman. I mean, the accident could have been because someone changed lanes, right? Like they didn't turn their turn signal on, or they didn't brake enough.
In theory, yeah.
They were tailgating, they didn't look. And maybe someone was like, all I was doing was changing lanes. And there's the title, right? Okay, Changing Lanes. I don't know. I'm feeling like it's the second film, but I'm not gonna put it anywhere yet. Second title, please.
Yep, your second title to go off of is gonna be 2-Lane Blacktop.
Okay, 2-Lane Blacktop. That definitely rings a bell. 2-Lane Blacktop. Damn. I think you've even talked about this movie at some point in time, possibly. Two-Lane Blacktop. Damn it! Why that's like a huge, loud bell, and I don't know if it's the 1971 movie or if it is possibly the 2002 movie. And I don't know why I'm skipping over the 1992 movie.
It's a bold tactic.
Yeah. Two-Lane Blacktop. Damn it. Oh, that's gonna really bother me because I feel like I can almost picture the poster too. Two-Lane Blacktop. Is this about a drag racer, or is this about an ex-con and a crazy person trying to better their lives, or is it about a wreck that happens? Damn it. Okay, I don't even want to put those anywhere yet because I know that title. This is I think a well-known movie. For some reason I want to say it's even like a foreign film, but I don't feel really as confident in saying that. But I do think this is a well-known title. I just don't know it well enough to know which movie it goes with. And I've clearly not seen this movie either. Two-Lane Blacktop. Okay. Third title, please.
All right. Your final title is going to be T-Bone and Weasel. T-Bone, the letter N, Weasel.
T-Bone and Weasel.
Yep.
T-Bone and Weasel. T-Bone and Weasel.
Hell yeah.
Okay. T-Bone and Weasel. Someone was wanting to start a franchise with that title. They wanted to have this thing spin off into like multiple sequels with T-Bone and Weasel getting into some crazy antics. T-Bone and Weasel. T-Bone in Weasel.
Yep.
Okay. Man, if that's not the ex-con and crazy man, I don't know what is. But who's T-Bone and who's Weasel? That's the question, I guess.
That's the question.
T-Bone sort of sounds like something you would like a nickname for an ex-con, possibly. And Weasel definitely does feel like it's like a crazy man name. Just call me Weasel. T-Bone and Weasel. I guess it could be the name of the drag racer and his mechanic.
It could be.
But I feel like the movie is. I feel like the 1971 film is less about those two and more about the situations that they're getting into, that they're coming like these other characters that they're coming across. And then the last film, that'd be hilarious if like the young lawyer, he's trying to have like a different audience, a different demographic for his services, maybe. So he calls himself T-Bone. And
the businessman is Weasel.
This is Weasel. Yeah, they just all my friends call me Weasel. Because he's a businessman, so he weasels people out of money. I don't know.
My name's Vincent Pirelli, but they call me Weasel.
They call me Weasel. Don't look into it as far as my business dealings. I'm straight up. I got good books, is what I'm saying. I don't fraud anybody. T-Bone and Weasel. Okay. Let me just recap this. We got Changing Lanes.
Yeah.
Which definitely sounds like it has multiple meanings intentionally. Then we have Two-Lane Blacktop. And then we have T-Bone and Weasel. Yep. And man, I really hope that the movie you watched twice, because it was so amazing, was T-Bone and Weasel.
It's possible.
T-Bone and Weasel. Except for Two-Lane Blacktop, the other two, Changing Lanes maybe sounds like something I've heard of, but it also sounds like one of those titles that's just... It sounds like one of those titles that it's just artsy enough that it passes as far as... But that also makes me feel like it's the 92 film, Changing Lanes. Mm-hmm. And again, like you've got these two characters that that want to better their life, and they're looking for money and luck, and they're out there on the road together, changing lanes. It feels like a 92 title for some reason. But then that leaves T-Bone and Weasel for one of the other two films. And I really don't know which one. T-Bone and Weasel. Is that a 1971 title? Are they trying to maybe, trying to go off of the whole like Smokey and the Bandit thing? Which was this before Smokey and the Bandit or after? I can't remember.
Yes, it was before.
It was before. So maybe Smokey and the Bandit was like, we could do that movie better and have a better name.
Yeah, Hal Needham saw T-Bone and Weasel, and he was like, he was just
there's something there. There's something
inspired.
there, and I can do it. I think there's a better sounding title, T-Bone and Weasel. I could see it being like a 70s title, just two characters, T-Bone and Weasel. Weasel's the mechanic. He can get in there and do whatever, fix things. He can weasel his way
Looks
out
like you got a blown carburetor.
Yeah, I don't know about if it's 20s, but
hey, T-Bone, your carburetor's fucked.
I can get in there and weasel it out. We can. Yeah, I know.
That's
Weasel.
how he talks. He fucking uses his nickname in his like descriptions of what he can do up to the car.
he can weasel us out of sticky situations.
I can weasel that.
He's a weasel.
I can weasel those lug nuts off.
He just uses it repeatedly as an action verb. Yeah. Okay.
They stop to eat on a few occasions, and the other dude's like, "Oh, give me a T-bone," and they're like, "It's 6 a.m." And he's like, "Yep, well,
that's all I eat, T-bones." Well, I could also maybe see like the drag car. This what was it again? It was a Chevy what?
Chevrolet 150.
Chevrolet one. I could maybe see it having like T-Bone painted on the side, like the hand painted lettering, and that's just
and
like
a
his
decal of the steak.
No, I think it would all be hand painted. It would all it would have that like sort of matte finished look of just being painted on the side of the door, but not nicely done, but nothing glossy or artificial, I guess. I mean, paint's artificial, but I was thinking like, the sticker being made by someone else. I think this was put on the car with paint. I could see that. He's just known as T-Bone. Like as he's driving across the Southwest, he's running across people, and they're like, "Oh, are you that T-Bone guy? One of the best racers around?"
That must make you Weasel.
Exactly. That must make you Weasel. But then that leaves changing. Two-Lane Blacktop, which I know I've heard that movie title. I know you've talked to me about this movie, or you've at least mentioned wanting to see it. That means it's the young lawyer and the businessman who share the accident, and then there's mutual road rage that builds to a feud. Two-Lane Blacktop. I mean, I could see this. I could see it happening, kind of in the middle of nowhere. This accident, and it just being a two-lane blacktop road, and maybe that's why they decide, hey, instead of waiting on someone to show up, like, here's my number, or here, whatever. They just exchange information after the accident because they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's going to take forever for someone to get here. But there's mutual road rage, which again, earlier I said they were in the car, and then I was like, oh, it'd be actually maybe interesting if they were just standing outside of the the vehicles on the accident. But I don't think it'd be road rage if you're not driving. So I think the vehicles have to be moving.
But what if they both got into the accident because of their mutual road rage, and then it turns into a feud because the accident happens and they're both arguing with each other about whose road rage was more intense?
But I thought the synopsis kind of implied that the accident happened first, with how it was written. Not that those synopses are ever accurate, but I mean, it felt like as though the accident was like the inciting incident. and then there was Road Rage, and then that built to this feud. Could the synopsis be read in a way that isn't that way?
They share an automobile accident, and their mutual road rage escalates into a feud.
Yeah, that feels as though they have the accident first, and then there's road rage after that escalates to a feud. Because I don't think that you would have the road rage, then have an accident. I think you've already escalated to feud before even an accident happens. At least in today's world, because I mean, road rage goes, skyrockets towards feud pretty quickly. Okay. 2-lane blacktop. T-Bone and Weasel. And then changing lanes. I absolutely don't feel like T-Bone and Weasel is the young lawyer and businessman. So I feel like I'm safe there. I really feel like Changing Lanes is the title for an early 90s film. Like Sony Pictures film, or like, Touchstone. One of those fallen flags of of semi-indie cinema. And then there's 2-lane blacktop. And I just don't know where that one goes. So, okay. I'm going to say the 1971 film of the drag racer and his mechanic driving across the American Southwest, coming across the hitchhiker and the other driver, the GTO driver. I'm going to say that one is T-Bone and Weasel. The 1992 film about the ex-con and the crazy man pairing up in search for a better life with only an old gun and a stolen car as they search for luck and cold hard cash. I'm going to call that one Changing Lanes. And then the 2002 film about the young businessman and the lawyer. Nope, the young lawyer and the businessman sharing in an accident, and then their mutual road rage building to a feud. I'm going to call that one 2-lane blacktop. Final answer.
All right.
Come on, T-Bone and Weasel.
You got 0 out of 3.
Oh, damn. Okay. Damn it. Oh, shit. Okay. So I think
which means, ladies and gentlemen, T-Bone and Weasel has a chance to still be the lawyer and businessman. It's
maybe. I don't think so. I still am confident that's not the case. So starting fresh again is actually helpful. I think this makes it kind of easy now. I want to say that 2-lane blacktop is the 1971 film about the drag racer and the enigmatic hitchhiker, I do believe, and and driver, American Southwest. That's 2-lane blacktop. And originally, I did sort of feel that it was like maybe a 1970s title, or it was the 2002 title. So that means that T-Bone and Weasel, I'm going to put with the 1992 film. And I'm going to say that that's just the name of the two characters, right? They're just, this is a T-Bone and Weasel venture, and we're just going to see what happens. And then that leaves Changing Lanes as the 2002 Road Rage feud movie. Final.
All right, and with that switcheroo, you got 0 out of 3 again.
Again? Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious. You got them all.
The fucking lawyer and the businessman is T-Bone and Weasel.
I want that so bad. Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Okay, so I redeemed myself on that one, but that was easy because I clearly, like I said, the young lawyer and businessman were not going to be called T-Bone and Weasel.
T-Bone and Weasel. I wish.
Tell me about these films.
1971's Two-Lane Blacktop is from director Monty Hellman.
Okay.
It is available at the time of recording on Criterion Blu-ray. I didn't see it streaming or available to rent at the time that we're recording this. I didn't check Criterion Channel, I will say, so I'm not positive if it's on there or not, but you can at least get a physical edition. It is written by Rudolph Wurlitzer and Will Corey. The movie stars two musicians. It stars James Taylor, Dennis Wilson, the drummer from the Beach Boys, and it also stars Laurie Bird and Warren Oates. So we have James Taylor as the driver. We have Dennis Wilson as the mechanic. Laurie Bird as the girl, and Warren Oates as GTO.
So that's just their names, the actual credited names.
That's
Wow.
The driver, the mechanic, the girl, and GTO.
That's interesting. Now I've clearly heard of this movie. I've not seen this movie. But I had no idea that there were two artists of other talents in this film, but also that a movie like this would just use their description as their character name. That's really interesting to me for some reason.
Yeah, this was as a matter of fact the only film performance by James Taylor and Dennis Wilson. They never did any other movies like. This also features in smaller roles Harry Dean Stanton,
awesome,
as a hitchhiker, and as a hitchhiker, not the one in the referenced in the description. That one is the girl, and James Mitchum, Robert Mitchum's son, is also briefly in the film. There was no makeup department. Nobody in this movie has makeup.
Just raw.
Monty Hellman mentioned that part of that idea was to save money for the making of the movie, because they shot this along Route 66, actually across the country for real.
That's awesome.
The ending of the film, which I won't say anything else about, Monty Hellman claimed that the ending, like the final shot of the film, came to him in a dream. As of the 2007 Criterion DVD release, James Taylor has never seen the movie. I don't know if I never saw anything more current of him discussing it in any fashion, so I'm not sure if he has seen it since, but at least as of 2007, he does have an interview with Monty Hellman in which he claims that he has not watched it, but he did mention that he was interested in watching it. By the end of 1983, so 12 years after the movie came out, by the end of 83, 3 of the 4 leading actors in the movie were dead.
Wow.
Laurie Bird, as the girl, committed suicide in 1979 at the age of 25. Warren Oates suffered a fatal heart attack in 1982 at the age of 53. One of my favorite actors ever, and he is amazing in the movie. This is the one that I have seen, by the way. And Dennis Wilson drowned in 1983 in an accident because he was on bad alcohol binges and drugs and such.
Speech books.
Of the 4 leads, only Warren Oates had previous acting experience. This was Laurie Bird's first film, and as I mentioned previously, James Taylor and Dennis Wilson had not done any work prior or after that in film. This would be Laurie Bird's debut. As I just said, she would only star in 2 other movies before her death. She starred in Monty Hellman's next feature film, Cockfighter, in 1974, and she starred in the Best Picture winning Annie Hall in 1977.
Wow.
Again, before her death in 1979. And lastly, this is included in the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die book, edited by Steven Schneider.
Like I said, I've definitely heard of this film. Just people talking about Two-Lane Blacktop. And the only reason I didn't go with this synopsis as Two-Lane Blacktop in the beginning was just because I really did feel like Changing Lanes was like a 90s title. But I have heard of this film. I have been told to go see it. I think part of the reason why I was told to watch it was because of the sort of, I don't want to necessarily call it guerrilla style, but the fact that it was the actual locations were used, and it was just kind of, had this raw look at the film, and it was so well done. So I have, I guess, sort of had this on a watch list, but that was not necessarily remembered very well, clearly. But now that you say all this stuff about it, though, I really do kind of want to see this movie.
I almost sent you, actually, a video of the very ending of the movie, just because it's something that you specifically have described. I don't remember if you've described wanting to see it or if it was just an idea you had for something, but it is very specific, something that you have talked about before. And there was an example of it in the Ingmar Bergman movie Persona, and I remember showing you that because I was like, oh, you've talked about this, and you were like, yeah, that was really cool, but it wasn't exactly like what you like wanted to see in your head.
Okay.
And this one, I am pretty sure, is what you wanted to see in your head. Like it's such a interesting, and it's also the kind of ending that you could see it, and it's not like it would ruin the movie, because the movie itself actually, it really doesn't necessarily have like a plot or a storyline.
Right.
I actually sold it to my partner by describing it. It's very much like a Linklater movie. It's like a hangout movie on the road.
Yeah. It's what happens during the movie and the characters in the movie that is the most appealing part, not their objective or not their end goal or anything like that. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I don't know who the quote was from. I don't remember now, but I read something where somebody like perfectly described the movie as being it's like Easy Rider if it was filmed by a French New Wave director.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I thought this movie was absolutely wonderful, and I've thought about it every single day since I watched it.
And I swear too that, and I could be way wrong, but I swear that we have or you've brought this movie up years ago, talked about it in some way or something like that. Maybe even asking me if I had seen it. But I feel like we have had discussion about at least this movie, maybe with other films also in the discussion. But I just get this feeling that you and I have discussed this movie before. And for some reason, I guess I thought you had already seen it.
Nope. If we had that discussion, I don't remember it in any way.
Well, it's weird how I remember things that don't happen and then forget actual facts. So it's very possible that has not happened. Or, I mean, I could have had that conversation with someone else, but I just have this feeling that I have discussed this film, or at least mentioned, in passing in a conversation, Thule and Blacktop. And even then I wanted to see it. Clearly I've forgotten about wanting to see it, and now that you bring it up here, I definitely want to see it. So I will put that on my radar.
Yep.
Tell me about T-Bone and Weasel, though, please, because I'm just dying to know.
Yes. So, T-Bone and Weasel, 1992, from director Louis Teague. You can watch this movie in full, uploaded on YouTube.
Oh, yes. That's happening.
Well, I know. We both need to. We need to watch this together, I think.
T-Bone and Weasel. Yeah!
This is the only produced script from writer John Klein, but Louis Teague had a solid career directing the films Cujo, The Cat's Eye, and Alligator.
Okay.
Gregory Hines and Christopher Lloyd star in the film as T-Bone and Weasel,
I want to
respectively.
See this even more. I have to see this now. I need to see this.
Christopher Lloyd as Weasel.
Yes, exactly.
It also co-stars Seinfeld alum Wayne Knight.
Wow.
And also co-stars Rip Torn.
Okay, no, I mean, this is an amazing movie already.
I know. This was
Lloyd
made for
and
TV.
Rip Torn in the same film? Okay.
Yep. Gregory Hines as T-Bone, Christopher Lloyd as Weasel.
Of course.
I'm locked in. I really want to see it as well.
How have I not heard? I mean, I love Christopher Lloyd, and clearly this is after Back to the Future and that huge run that he had. But how do I not know about this movie? That's really upsetting to me.
The stolen car. What if they stole a DeLorean? Like just as
hilarious. A little nod.
Not even a little nod, like a huge.
Yeah,
like
it would be
obvious
a huge nod.
But
let's take this. Interesting.
If you got the gun, I can get the car.
T-Bone.
I just got out of prison, man.
Just got out of prison, Weasel. Yeah, you just replace all of the dialogue from Back to the Future with prison references, and then Weasel and T-Bone. Other than that, the whole thing's the same.
Yeah.
And then you said Klein. Who was the writer for this?
The writer John Klein.
That name sounds really familiar.
There's literally no other credit on their IMDb page.
Maybe I know of someone named John
writing
Klein.
this.
Maybe that's why.
See, you're good at knowing things that don't exist. So it's
in
quite
my
possible.
reality, I know that name.
Yeah, so to cap off this really fast, Changing Lanes from 2002 is from director Roger Mitchell. This movie at the time of recording is streaming on Pluto, or you can rent it on Amazon for a couple bucks. It's written by Chap Taylor and Michael Tolkien. It stars Ben Affleck, Samuel L. Jackson, Toni Collette, Sidney Pollack, Richard Jenkins, and features William Hurt.
What a cast! Wow.
So a day after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, the director had the World Trade Center towers digitally removed from the opening main title sequence in the film. However, in the DVD commentary, he admitted that it was a mistake to erase them and made it appear as if they did not exist. During the re-editing for the film, he reinserted them as a tribute, apparently. A young Bradley Cooper was in a scene that was supposedly to take place early in the movie, just after the first scene of the Ben Affleck character in the Metropolitan Museum. He played a young lawyer getting a job interview. The scene was deleted for the movie, but it can be found on the Blu-ray in the deleted scenes.
I will not be watching that.
And then lastly for you, what I have is, in order to attract a wider audience, the theatrical trailer was arranged in such a way as to make the film look like a high-octane thriller, as opposed to the rather slow-moving drama it actually was. The movie was heavily criticized for misleading the moviegoers.
You think?
So there's that. With this information in mind, we got a Criterion film, we have a scrutinized because it was falsely advertised title, and we have Christopher Lloyd as Weasel in a film directed by the director of Cujo.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think I don't really know the range. I feel like
I will say, T-Bone and Weasel, if you didn't hear, is listed on IMDb as made for TV, but right. I couldn't find anything. Like, I don't know if that was made for TV in quotes, as in like made for HBO, or if it was like a cable, made for cable.
I don't know.
Show. I'm not sure.
It sort of feels like cable. Like that's like a because you can pull in all these zany characters that people are used to.
Tune in Friday night for Friday movie night.
Exactly.
This week, T-Bone and Weasel.
I mean, before Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd was probably best known for his role on Taxi. So you already have those TV fans of his, and then Rip Torn was again another sort of staple on television shows, like variety shows and whatever. So I feel like this is for like a cable made for not like an HBO or a movie channel. This is, I think, is designed to have commercial breaks. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the quality's bad. And in fact, it probably means that fewer people have actually seen this, and that out of those, maybe more people like it. So, like I said, the range I really don't know. I feel like this is going to be one that skews higher just because of two-lane blacktop. I think we might have like high 7s here. I don't know. Is this going to be our first 8? I don't think we've ever had anything in the 8s or higher than a 7 before.
I think we have.
We have?
We definitely have, yeah.
Okay.
Reservoir Dogs, for example.
Was it 8? I thought that was like 7.9 or something.
Yeah, it's like an 8.4 or something. I don't know.
That was 7.
But it's definitely in the 8s.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Well, you're
there's
wrong.
No way to find out.
Yep. Can't confirm or deny.
I can deny. Okay, so maybe we have it. It's been few, just to really say that. So, but I think maybe this is possibly another one. Is it higher than Reservoir Dogs if Reservoir Dogs is an 8.4? That I don't know. Okay, so I guess I will say 8s. I think this is going to be somewhere in the 8s for our highest one, and then for the lowest one, I'm going to say 5s, like maybe mid to high 5s, an average rating out of 10. So I will say that Two Lane Blacktop is number 1. I've heard so much about that movie. It's clearly in some book that says you have to see this before you die. And then
or what?
Yeah, or your life will be less. And then also there's the Criterion part of it too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that's number 1. Number 2, and I feel like the gap between 1 and 2 is quite large. I'm going to say that the second film is Changing Lanes. And I feel like initially this might have gotten critical reviews, especially with the audience not liking how they were duped with the trailer. But I feel like with this cast and with time, I think people came around to find that maybe this movie is actually pretty decent. So I'm going to give that one the second spot. And then the third spot will go to T-Bone and Weasel. I mean, it sounds crazy. I don't really know, based off of the synopsis, who this audience, like who the target audience was. I don't know if this is like a family movie.
It's obviously you. You're the target
clearly
audience.
Well, that's the thing though. But I'm an individual, so and a lot of people don't agree with my views. So besides being targeted at me, whenever I was only 2 years old,
yeah.
I don't really know who this is for. And it sounds like a comedy, but it sounds like a weird zany screwball comedy, but it's also like a road trip movie. But then you also have Doc from Back to the Future in this role. So if people are following his filmography and then finding this, they might rate it lower. And then there's also the people from Taxi who. And then there's Rip Torn, and there's all these things that are just like, it sounds crazy. It sounds very much in the same vein as like an Ernest movie. It had that same kind of like zany humor type, possibly. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people love it. So I'm going to say that this is, again, probably average 5, mid 5s, but I want to say T-Bone and Weasel is last.
Yeah, the sequel was Ernest Saves Weasel.
And I would fucking own that if that was a thing. I love the Ernest movies. I love Christopher Lloyd. I would be all over that.
Okay, well, you did get the order correct. You were very much correct.
Okay. I feel like that was probably one of the easier orders to get.
Yeah. So Two Lane Blacktop up top with a 7.2 out of 10.
Wow. Less than I thought it was.
Second is Changing Lanes with a 6.5 out of 10. And pulling up the rear off of only 221 ratings is T-Bone and Weasel with 5.1 out of 10.
Okay, so my range wasn't entirely off.
Yeah.
I was just a little bit more generous to Two Lane Blacktop. All right.
Hey, well, do you hear that?
Oh, what?
Do you hear that? I think I hear a tag me.
Tag me. Tag me.
This is where I go to the plot details section of IMDb, and there are like random words and phrases that are maybe in some way loosely associated with the film.
Yes.
And they're basically tags, and you can click them, and it shows you other movies that have the same tags. So, starting off with Two Lane Blacktop this week. There's nothing actually that interesting in here. We have Muscle Car.
Oh, okay.
We have On the Road.
Okay.
We have Car Accident.
Okay, yeah.
We have Truck Accident.
Different.
Yeah, we have Massage.
Okay, that is a little bit weird. I mean, is the mechanic doing something? Is the
yeah, maybe.
Maybe there's. I mean, you did say that the hitchhiker is the female actor in the cast, right? So maybe there's some kind of love interest there that develops, or fling or something.
We have class differences.
Oh, I wouldn't have expected that. Wait, along 66, we're talking about class.
Yep.
Class. That's interesting. Okay.
Route 66 was all about class.
Yeah, you had the huge corporate businessmen, and you had the lowly hitchhikers, and that disparity made it the American road. Yeah,
that's correct. T-Bone and Weasel only has 2 tags.
T-Bone, Weasel.
I really wish. No, it's car.
Okay.
And road trip.
All right, car and road trip.
Straight and to the point. Yep, T-Bone and Weasel sounds like a classic in the making, I think. Changing Lanes has a whole bunch. All right, so to name a few, we have Downward Spiral.
Okay.
Call Center Employee.
Okay.
Reference to Tiger Woods. It's a tag.
Yeah.
How many movies have that? 26 titles have a reference to Tiger Woods, just so we know.
That we know of, at least.
We have 12-Step Program. Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay, yeah.
2-word title.
2-word title.
There we go. There we go. Feel like we got a better sense for what these movies are.
I mean, like I said, I still really want to see Two-Lane Blacktop. I am kind of curious of what the class disparity or the class whatever tag was about. But as much as I want to see and have apparently wanted to see Two-Lane Blacktop, I'm probably going to get T-Bone and Weasel in much sooner.
Yeah, if for no other reason, it at least is like easily accessible just on
That's
YouTube.
True. Yeah, just on YouTube.
I do have a
quote time.
This is where I go to the quote section on IMDb for one of these movies, and I pull a quote. And Will gives me character direction to read the quote to him, and then he tries to figure out which movie the quote came from. And I will tell you, you have one line from one character.
One line from one character, and I want to try to pick the character from a movie that we have here in hopes that it'll help me in some way. And as much I did enjoy your Christopher Lloyd, as much as that sounds fun, I actually kind of want you to give this line as, let's go with you're a young professional who is trying his best to restrain his anger at someone who he just had an accident with. So you're trying to reserve that anger. You're trying to be professional. You have a career that is attached to your name and identity, so you don't want to just pop off, but you really easily could because of how angered you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And as written on the IMDb page, your quote reads as follows: "If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that kind of fits. Say that again.
Yep. If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit.
If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit. Now that's interesting because, I mean, it sort of fits the scenario of being enraged and trying to contain, trying to not pop a cap off, basically. You want to be grounded. But I don't know if that line would actually be said in that film.
You think this is more of a Weasel line?
I think it's maybe. say it one more time.
Yeah. If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit.
If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit.
Look, T-Bone. If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit.
I mean, kind of. That's what I'm going for.
T-Bone, or Weasel, you fucking crazy. If I'm not grounded pretty soon, I'm going to go into orbit.
I could see that happening in this movie. Okay.
What the fuck does that mean, Weasel?
I'm just trying to, in my head, I'm trying to see if it would, because I can't just completely ignore Two-Lane Blacktop. That could be a possibility. Just because the phrase go into orbit could be something that was also fairly popular in the 70s right after the space race era. Everyone is very familiar with that term.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I just don't know if it fits Changing Lanes, because that sounds more like a dark, as you said, slow burn type movie. And even though there is this road rage incident that leads to a feud, I don't know if, just because I don't know the movie and lack of context, I don't know if any of these characters would say a phrase like this, but two, if there's anyone to say a phrase like this to while being angry. Because in my head, if they're road raging, they're probably in a car, possibly alone. And I don't know if you would say if either of these characters would say this to themselves. And then if you get out to the point of being, wanting to feud, I don't know if you're going to say a line like this out loud, because it's kind of so ridiculous that it diffuses the situation.
The other driver's like, "Wait, what'd you say?"
Like, what? Yeah,
nothing.
Okay, it's just because I want it to be. Like I said, it still very well could be the 1971 two-lane blacktop film. I don't know who in that movie this could be, so because I don't know who, I feel like this is T-Bone and Weasel. I'm going to go with T-Bone and Weasel.
And Weasel says it? That's what your guess is?
I'm not going to put that...
Or is that a T-Bone line?
That I don't really know for sure. That could be a Rip Torn line. That could, it's just that it's a zany enough line, I think, that almost anyone could possibly say in this movie. I really don't know who. I could see the ex-con having like anger issues too, maybe. And
what if he has Tourette's?
Possibly.
No, Weasel has Tourette's. That's what
Christopher Lloyd just like
He's
cursing
crazy.
at random. But for TV, so for TV, so it's like the it's the alt curse.
Yeah,
freak.
Gosh darn it!
Shoot.
Like the dub that doesn't sound anything at all like the actual actor's voice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So this is a line delivered by the character GTO, as played by Warren Oates in Two Lane Blacktop.
So again, I felt like it could have maybe been like the 70s just because of that line. I just didn't. I don't know enough about that movie to know. And it makes sense that it is one of those types of like side characters, not our two main characters, or whatever. Because you could put any kind of situation upon that character, and then it makes sense, sort of, right? As far as the film goes. They could be crazy, they could be agitated, they could be whatever, and it's just a situation that you're getting into. So I guess that does make sense now that I've heard it, but I really wanted Christopher Lloyd to say that line because you sold me so well with your impression.
Oh wow, I'm shocked.
Okay, so you've only seen Two Lane Blacktop,
correct?
And you saw it twice very recently.
Yeah.
So our line comes from that. So we don't want to go that route. I want to know. Let's because I really feel like we're gonna watch, or at least I am, T-Bone and Weasel probably this weekend.
Yeah. No, I seriously really want to watch it with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I have to wait then?
I think that'd be fun.
Okay. But I want to know. Let's do a prediction. Of sorts. What do we think the ex-con was convicted of?
Grand Theft Auto.
So he's just doing the same thing again.
And battery. Yeah.
So he's a violent offender then.
Yeah, he beat someone up and stole their car.
Okay, and then where do we picture this taking place? I said earlier possibly like Nevada or Vegas because we're looking for luck.
Definitely out west.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think all these road trip movies kind of have to. I was actually surprised whenever you said that Changing Lanes had a tie-in with Manhattan and that, because I just always picture like these, if it's on the road, it's in the West somewhere.
Yeah, well, that one is the only one of these three that's not like an actual like road trip movie. So being a road rage car accident, I guess makes sense for
it does,
Manhattan.
Yeah.
But yeah, a road trip movie that takes place in the Northeast where they're just like sitting in traffic for the whole thing wouldn't be as fun, probably.
It wouldn't be. Yeah.
But yeah,
Definitely the West.
I definitely picture out west. Nevada is pretty possible, I would say, as well, if not Southern California.
Yep. Okay. So we get that like Southwest area again. You're saying that are we confirming that T-Bone is the criminal? At least by name.
Yeah, I'll say yes. I genuinely don't know if if T-Bone is the criminal or if Weasel is the criminal, but
I feel like Weasel's
I'm just going to go with that.
More of a crazy man name. And I also feel like, and is Christopher Lloyd playing Weasel for sure? We
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
and I also feel like Christopher Lloyd.
I paid attention to the character names on the IMDb page.
And I also feel like Christopher Lloyd is going to probably be cast in that crazy, harebrained, scatterbrained role more than a criminal.
What if we hear Christopher Lloyd say the N-word in this movie? That's something that I don't think we'll recover from.
That would be shocking.
Like nobody knew that this movie exists.
Yeah,
where Christopher Lloyd says the
They've
N-word.
tried to bury it. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, Universal's working diligently to get this thing removed from everyone's conscience. Okay, so T-Bone is the criminal, possibly violent offender who Grand Theft Auto who's doing and do we say he does this again? He's the one who steals the car?
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, his character is known as a crazy man, as per the synopsis on the IMDb page.
Mm-hmm.
However, his craziness does not extend beyond the law. So he's like crazy, but he's law-abidingly so.
Right. Yeah, he's
crazy, but he doesn't break the law.
Yeah,
he's like very
nutty.
Specific. He's like, I don't know, T-Bone, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah, I could see that. Him being and that could be why they're, it's like this
the
mismatch
duo.
Is that maybe Christopher Lloyd or Weasel is afraid to do a lot of things because he has like a super, strong anxieties and paranoias and all that. And then you have T-Bone who just is brash and just does whatever and doesn't care. So then my question is okay, so what's the prediction? How did they come together? And why did T-Bone even decide to pair up with Weasel?
Yes, and vice versa. Why did Weasel decide to team up with T-Bone? So
yeah,
they have to have like obviously some kind of a history. Like maybe they were like childhood friends, or Weasel. I don't know. What if maybe Weasel is also an ex-con, as an actual guest, but for some reason to distinguish them, they don't list him as an ex-con as well. I don't know.
What if it's Weasel's car
that gets stolen by T-Bone?
Yeah, like so,
and then
almost like T-Bone like hijacks it in a way, and Weasel gets back in the passenger side, or just moves over to the passenger side, and Weasel's too paranoid or whatever to do anything, so he just kind of goes along for the ride, and then over the course of them being in the car together, they both sort of kind of figure out that one can help the other, or there's a mutual...
I was going to say T-Bone steals the car, and he's making he's driving off with it, and Weasel discovers it. He's like, oh, God damn it, my car's gone. But T-Bone starts to feel bad for his actions, and so he turns around and comes back, and he's like, I'm sorry, man. And Weasel's just like, oh, it's okay. He brought it back. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'm looking for a fresh start myself.
I've got this old gun.
I got an old gun. And T-Bone's like, well, fucking get in the car, motherfucker. And then they drive off.
So Weasel is a crazy person, as it's said.
And he's like hitting himself in the head with a mallet and going like, whoa.
I was going to say, what if Weasel is like somehow... Weasel, I still want to say this is Weasel's car, just because I like that dynamic. But what if Weasel?
Yeah, me too.
What if Weasel somehow fell into his own trunk and got locked inside? And then T-Bone just comes along and just steals this car because, like, the window's down, it's unlocked, and no one's around. So what if? So then T-Bone drives for a while, and then all of a sudden hears in the back, pulls over middle of nowhere, has to let this guy out, and now he's stuck with him, And Weasel's just like, well, if you take me to like the next town, I'll let you have the car, but you can't leave me here because I can't deal with snakes or whatever. It's like I'm too afraid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Weasel is like doing something in the trunk. So he has the trunk opened up, and he's back there behind the car.
Yeah,
and T-Bone actually like shoves him into the trunk and shuts the door and steals the car.
Okay.
And so Weasel is back there in the car, but T-Bone doesn't know how to operate the car. Okay, and so he's like asking for help, like he doesn't know how to drive stick or some shit.
Okay, like there's a certain like there's a weird functionality to the vehicle that T-Bone's not used to,
and Weasel is able to. There's like
through the back,
the center console like moves down where it's like connected to the trunk, and so he's able to like put his face like through the back seats, but it's not big enough for him to like come out.
Yeah.
So he has his face through the back seats, and he's like, "All right, now downshift, let off the clutch,
half clutch it. Okay, now flip the switch."
Yeah.
Does he ever get out of the trunk, or is he just there the whole movie?
I just like it's just Christopher Lloyd's face sticking through the middle of the back seat of the car the whole movie. And so T-Bone like gets out and gets into adventures and stuff like that, and Christopher Lloyd's character just has to sit in the trunk the entire movie. And then there's like a scene where T-Bone is like giving him like a straw, like sippy cup, like to give him like food.
I was going to say that T-Bone's like sitting there like eating some French fries and a burger, and Weasel's like, "Man, that sure smells good," and then, like he like puts the French fry through the hole, and Weasel just like nibbles at it,
and then he like has to use the restroom, and T-Bone lets him out to use the to piss. And then Weasel's crazy, so he just climbs back into the trunk again, like willingly.
That's where he belongs.
He's like, I kind of like trunk life.
I kind of like it back here. Yeah. Okay, so the ultimate question to wrap this up: how does it end? Do they find luck and cold hard cash?
No, they get into a shootout with the police at the end of the movie.
Oh.
And it's one of those where like the gas tank gets shot and the car explodes with Weasel.
Oh God.
With Weasel inside of it still.
Yeah.
And T-Bone, there's like one of those moments where it like goes in slow motion as he watches the flames, like the explosion.
Yeah.
And like a tear comes down his face, and he has like a like he screams and like goes into like rage mode.
Weasel.
And kills all the police.
Okay. and then what? Like the credits is just like the sound of a car burning, and then there's T-Bone just like on his knees crying next to it, and this hilarious slapstick comedy went into immediately a dark ending of just like his only friend who cared about him and didn't care about his past is now cooking alive in the trunk sarcophagus that he chose to be in.
Yeah,
Weasel, if you would have just listened to me and came out of that trunk.
We see the lights flickering on T-Bone's face as he like cries, and it's in like slow motion, and it dissolves into like an animal, the weasel, eating a T-bone steak as the credits roll over this footage.
All right.
Either that or a sniper from a nearby building snipes T-Bone and is like, clear.
Clear, and then black, and then credits. Clear. We got him. It's just the whole thing has been a manhunt the whole time.
Like and then we get a part 2, like T-Bone and Weasel 2, where it's the other side, and we're watching this manhunt, like the police, the SWAT team, like chasing them on this road trip because the whole time.
From the police's point of view, this criminal has kidnapped a man with psychosis and is holding him hostage.
Yeah, and the reason that they haven't shot at him before is because they know that he's in the trunk, and they don't want to have like an accidental injury or like fire
Makes
at
total
him.
Sense.
And so now that the car is blown up and the only person that they were protecting has been killed, they're able to freely shoot and kill T-Bone.
Got him. Black. Oh gosh. All right. I look forward to watching that. What was that called again? Just gunfight.
Yeah.
So slow mo, just like Weasel.
We have the car explodes. We have the explosion shot of the car where you see like the fireball, and you just hear Christopher Lloyd go, ah! screaming in pain until his screams like like slowly fizzle out.
Oh wow.
Christopher Lloyd as Weasel.
As Weasel.
Yeah, that's amazing.